My name is Mary, and this is our family's story told in my voice, because for a long time, none of us had words. We lost our daughter Samantha when she was 20 years old. And I need to say this first. If you've never lost a child, it's hard to understand what it does to a family. It doesn't just break your heart. It changes the air in your home. It changes your sleep. It changes the way you look at the future. Our daughter was 20, right on the edge of everything. She had plans, she had opinions. She had a laugh that filled the room and made you laugh even when you didn't want to. She was also a sister, the kind who could be annoying in the way sisters are, and then protective in the way only sisters can be. The day we lost her, time didn't move normally. I remember hearing sounds, people talking, phones ringing, but it felt like it was happening in a different world. When we came home, it was quiet in a way I can't describe, like the house itself was holding its breath. The first weeks, we weren't living. We were surviving. I would wake up and reach for my phone, ready to call her, and the memory would hit me like a wave all over again. Food had no taste, nights had no end. And I want to be honest about something people don't always say out loud. Grief doesn't just make you sad. It makes you different. It makes you forget things. It makes you tired in your bones. It makes you angry at the wrong moments. It makes you numb when you think you should cry. My husband and I, we struggled. Not because we didn't love each other, but because we didn't grieve the same way. I needed to talk. I needed to say her name out loud. I needed to tell stories, even if I cried through every sentence. He went quiet. He tried to be the strong one. He handled the calls. He did the paperwork. He dealt with the practical things that come when your heart is shattered. And at first, I misunderstood his silence. There were nights I looked at him and thought, why aren't you falling apart like I am? Do you feel it? Do you miss her? And I can say this now because we've talked about it. He was grieving just as deeply. He was just grieving inward. Because he was terrified that if he broke, we would both go down. Grief can turn two people who love each other into strangers for a while. You're in the same house, the same bed, but you're speaking two different languages of pain. There were days we argued over little things that didn't matter. Dishes, laundry, a tone of voice. Because it was easier than saying the truth. I'm hurting so much I don't know how to be a person today. And then there were our other children, her siblings. I want to talk about that because siblings are often the quiet mourners. People ask the parents, how are you holding up? But sometimes no one asks the brothers and sisters, how are you surviving? They lost their sister, their friend, their person. One of them got angry, not at anyone specific, just angry at the world, angry that life could be so unfair. One of them went silent, stayed in their room, scrolled on their phone for hours, just trying not to feel. One of them tried to take care of me, and that broke my heart in a different way. Because a sibling should never feel like they have to parent their parent. We were all walking around with the same wound, but it showed up differently in each of us. And for a while, it felt like grief was going to take everything, our peace, our joy, even our closeness. But here's where our story began to shift. Not because the pain disappeared, but because we stopped trying to carry it alone. The turning point for my husband and me wasn't a big moment. It was a night I couldn't breathe through the sadness. I was sitting on the bathroom floor trying to stay quiet because I didn't want to make anyone else hurt more. And I heard him outside the door. He knocked softly. When I opened it, he didn't say, "Be strong." He didn't say, "It'll be okay." He sat down beside me and said, "I don't know how to fix this, but I'm not leaving you in it." And something in me unclenched. Because I didn't need fixing, I needed presence. That was the beginning of us learning how to grieve together, not separately. After that, we started doing small things, small on purpose. We made a rule we would say her name. Not like a forbidden word, balonasak, but like a way to keep love alive. We started checking in with each other every day, just one question. How heavy is it today? From 1 to 10. Some days my answer was a 10. Some days his was a 10. Sometimes our siblings' answer was the 10. And we learned that on the 10 days, we didn't need solutions, we needed compassion. We needed a hand, we needed a meal, we needed someone to sit on the couch and just be near us. That's where our family, our extended family, changed everything. They didn't rush us. They didn't try to put a positive bow on a tragedy. They didn't say things like, everything happens for a reason, because when you're in grief, those words can feel like a wall. They said things like, I'm coming over, you don't have to talk. I'm bringing food, you don't have to host. I can drive the kids, I can handle the phone calls. I'm here, I'm staying. Sometimes they sat with our children, her siblings, without asking them to be okay. Sometimes they just watched a movie with them so they wouldn't feel alone. Sometimes they told stories about her, the funny ones, the sweet ones. And we cried, but we also smiled. Because for the first time, we realized talking about her didn't destroy us. Pretending she didn't exist destroyed us. We also got help outside the family. We did counseling. We learned about grief, how it hits in waves, how it changes your brain, how anniversaries and birthdays can reopen everything. We learned that grief isn't something you finish. It's something you learn to carry with love. As a family, we also found ways to honor her together. We created a small memory box. We wrote letters to her on the days we missed her most. On her birthday, we lit a candle and shared one story, each of us. Sometimes it was through tears, sometimes it was through laughter. And we started one tradition, one act of kindness in her name. Every month, a meal for a neighbor, a donation, a note to someone who is struggling. Not because it replaced her, but because love needs somewhere to go. I need to tell you what overcoming looks like for us, because it's not what people imagine. Overcoming doesn't mean we stopped missing her. It doesn't mean we stopped crying. Overcoming means we can breathe again. Overcoming means my husband and I can hold each other without feeling guilty for being comforted. Overcoming means her siblings can speak her name without feeling like the room will collapse. Overcoming means we can laugh sometimes and not feel like we're betraying her. Overcoming means we're not drowning every single day. We still have hard days. Songs can still break us. A photo can still knock the wind out of us. And there are moments, quiet moments, when the loss feels new again. But we also have something we didn't have in the beginning: tools, language, support, and each other. And if you're listening to this because you've lost someone, especially a child, especially a sibling, I want to say this as gently as I can. You don't have to heal fast. You don't have to heal the same way as the people around you. If you're the one who cries, your tears are love. If you're the one who goes quiet, your silence is not absence. But please, and don't disappear. Let someone sit beside you. Let someone bring you a meal. Let someone hold your hand. As a family, we learned something we'll carry forever. Grief is heavy, but it gets lighter when it's shared with love. Our daughter, our sister, will always be missing, but she will never be erased. And today, we're still here, and still a family, still learning, still loving. One step forward, one day at a time.